Hey everyone, it's Brooke, one of the admission counselors at the Viterbi School of Engineering. I wanted to invite you to join us for the largest event of the fall. It's the Viterbi Expo at Discover USC coming up Sunday, October 20th. It's everything you would ever want from a day on campus. Viterbi admission keynote sessions, student design teams, makerspace tours, student organizations, and more. You'll get to meet our current students, hear from faculty, and tour facilities. To register for the event, go to viterbi.link/events. That's viterbi.link/events, EVENTS. We hope to see you there. Now let's get your podcast started.
This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop on research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared by students, faculty, alumni, and other members of the USC community.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Executive Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
And my name is Safia Patel. I'm your other co-host. I'm a senior studying computer science and doing my master's in engineering management.
And joining us is an additional co-host for this week, bringing her own episode. Vicky, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm a junior studying electrical and computer engineering, and I'm originally from Tustin, California.
Thank you for being here, Vicky. And let's tell everybody what just happened. So, a little fun fact: technical issues. Vicky and Safi and I just spent 45 minutes ish recording a very lengthy conversation that was a dynamite conversation. It was super funny. It had some weird, scary, and icky parts because we talked about Halloween Horror Nights. We talked about Vicky's episode, and the magical thing that we all realized at the end is we messed up and we actually didn't record it. So there's no way that we could ever redo that talk again. So,
what we're so glad we had that conversation.
We had, which at some points, to be honest with you, I was a little weirded out by it. So I'm kind of glad it's not ever going to see the light of day, because it got weird and dark when we talked about Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm not going to reveal a lot of what was talked about. So
moving on. It's okay.
We're moving on. It's fine. So Vicky, tell us about this episode.
Yeah, so I got the chance to interview one of my good friends, Grace, who is a CS major, and we basically just talked about all the different opportunities and things going on around campus, especially going to school in LA.
An episode all about the ideas of attending school in this really cool, somewhat weird, very big, but awesome city called Los Angeles. We're going to jump into that just a second, but we're going to do something a little weird. And I know Vicky and Safi, I'm going to tell you this because we haven't talked about it ahead of time. This will not have an outro. So when you hear the end of the conversation, that will be it. And so thank you for listening. I apologize. It's my issue. Is my schedule's booked and we cannot record again all the time that we've actually used for our recording for today. So I apologize. That is going to be it for today. And I would love to hear from you all. What do you think we went over in this conversation? It's a wide-ranging topic. Yeah, I mean, guess what you think we talked about, because it was not recorded and it was interesting. It was a lot of fun, but weirded me out in many different parts. So I'm really kind of glad we're not doing it. So all about Horror Nights. Okay. That's the clue, basically.
They'll have much more of it leading up to Halloween. They don't need to hear it now.
But we're going to revisit it next week. We're going to come back to Halloween Horror Nights, because you went to Halloween Horror Nights and we talked about that whole thing. And both Vicky and I are not a huge fan of these things. Nope. But we found out Safia really is. And that's cool. And I think it's relevant to this episode about the idea of going to LA, because these types of things exist in LA, and that's kind of the cool part of going to a university in this big city. So with that, thank you all for listening. I'm going to hand it over to Vicky to get to your episode all about LA. And after the episode, goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. Today I'm joined by the lovely Grace Hutapea. So Grace, could you give us a little intro about who you are, what you do, all of that?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Grace Hutapea, like you said. I'm a senior studying computer science here at USC, and I'm originally from the island of Guam, and LA is the first place I've ever lived in besides Guam. So it was a big transition, but it's been a lot of fun.
Cool, cool. That's nice to hear. My name's Vicky. I know you guys just heard me in the intro, but I'm a junior now studying electrical and computer engineering, and I'm from Tustin, California. But yeah, in this podcast, we'll be talking about all the different things that come with being a college student in LA, and specifically the different opportunities that USC kind of provides for us. But I guess to get us started, Grace. What is the coolest thing that you have ever done through USC?
Ooh, there's so many ways I could answer that question. I think one of the biggest things was that I was able to attend Grace Hopper.
Mhm.
Like it's a computer science conference,
Mm,
um, for a scholarship at USC, and I was able to meet so many like really cool girls who I'm still friends with now.
mhm,
And it was nice just meeting a lot of people from other schools that are within my major
mhm,
and getting to learn about their computer science.
mhm.
And then I also got like a lot of job opportunities from that. So it was a great way to network, but also get a job.
Mhm.
So, and that wouldn't have been possible without USC funding that. So that was
That's
really
really cool.
cool.
When did you do that?
And yeah, that was my junior year. So I was really like worried about recruiting. That opportunity honestly gave me so much time. And
Yeah. Where was this again?
this was, oh, my mind's blanking. Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
This,
Okay,
this
okay.
yeah.
That is cool. But USC like
It's-
basically like sponsored you to go.
yeah, they sponsored you to go. They have different types of sponsorships. They have a fully in-person one and then the
Mhm,
virtual one. And both are really great opportunities to get to attend the conference
mhm.
while not having to spend any of your own money. So
Yeah.
that was
Is
really
that
appreciated.
is that like those like conferences that like change locations every year?
Yes,
Okay.
it's kind of similar to the Society of Women in Engineering conference, which
Hmm.
is also held in a different location every year. But this one is specific to just women in computer science
Gotcha.
or related data science, like
Yeah.
project management, those types of roles.
Yeah. That's really cool. You also went to the Society of Women Engineers last year, right?
I did also go to that. Yeah, I went with my roommate Safia, and we really enjoyed that conference as well. It was in LA, so it was a lot more laid back. Like I could
Yeah.
drive us there and we could leave whenever we wanted. And there was also, I think my favorite part about these conferences are definitely when you get to actually talk with the companies,
Right.
because you want to learn about possible job opportunities and what different company cultures can be like. So I like waited outside and like I was like one of the first people waiting outside to like talk to the company booths.
Yeah.
And then got in a fight with a guy there because
Oh.
what is a guy doing in a Society of Women
Yeah.
conference? And I was like, "Oh, are you a woman or do you identify as anything that isn't a man?" And he was like, "No, I'm a man." And I started fighting with him.
No, I would have too. I heard a lot about that too. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And also, like,
it was just like,
I don't know, because even like if I were a recruiter at like the Society of like Women Engineers like conference, like I
mm,
would be like, why are we letting in like more? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's like not the time and place. But I definitely heard there were some
no, it's not.
problems with that.
Yeah, and so that bit of a drawback with these conferences is that some people have the audacity to who aren't supposed to attend,
Mhm.
but you kind of just have to hold your ground and
Yeah,
fight for your way in. But
definitely.
yeah, so I got to a bunch of companies and that was really fun. I will say that conference, because it's for all engineering majors, it wasn't
Mhm.
as useful for me because when I was at a lot of booths, they mentioned that they aren't recruiting for computer science students.
Oh.
But it was a chance to learn about other different companies. And I have friends who aren't like computer science majors but are engineering, and I always
Mhm.
just send them like the company booth link to like help them out and see if they'd be interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
No,
really like those conferences.
that's cool. What about like in terms of like, have you done anything like non-academic through USC that like they've kind of like put together?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, my freshman year, I think I attended a ton of really fun like USC led events that weren't academic. Like I know I think they still do this, but like every year, I think the first week of freshman year, they have like events every single night.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they still do that, but I remember my freshman year, they had like one part of campus was like an open mic karaoke. And my friends
That's
and I did that.
fun.
It was so embarrassing because people were actually really good and we were just like we were kind of just messing
Like, I
around.
feel like that's the point
And then
of
they
that.
also
Like, you kind of
no,
have to
exactly.
act. That's like the fun part.
The lady who went on directly after me, she just starts belting out like Celine Dion, and I was like, oh my
No,
God, okay. I
Celine
was
Dion.
like, oh, okay. I was like, wow. So that was a little, but it was fun. And they also had like free food.
Mhm.
USC always has a lot of free food. And then, like a roller rink, which I did. They had an inflatable obstacle course, which was super. I also like beat all my friends at that. Super excited about that. And then they also had the back to school concert, which had Dominic Fike, which is
Oh,
insane.
you're that Dominic Fike came because I heard that was like the last
Yeah, which is so
really
insane.
good year. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it low-key was. I haven't been to the most recent ones, but that
same.
one was super fun. He was a little unenthusiastic, but like the fact that he was even there was so
Mhm.
crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard it was
So
the time he was like not doing the greatest. So like, it
yeah, I mean, he never seems
was,
to be doing the greatest,
yeah,
but at least the music's really good.
yeah. No,
But
that's
yeah, so
fun.
in terms of non-academic events, like fun, that's definitely like my favorite ones that I remember from freshman year.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I know like my freshman year, I think I was really upset because they like took away the pool party because of COVID that they used to do. But then my
Oh
sophomore
yeah, but
year,
they brought it back.
they did because my
Mhm.
sophomore year, I my friends and I went to the pool party and it was like kind of the funniest thing ever, like just swimming in like the
Wait,
aquatic.
how was it?
It was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good time.
Oh God,
I literally jumped
I'm
in. I
so
was
mad
like,
I never got to experience that.
no, I was like, I'm like a sophomore. Like, I feel like these are more for freshmen, but like, I kind of want to go. Like, I need to experience the USC pool party, you know? But that was fun. I remember like there was this one cool one. I like signed up really quickly and it was like the like new Black Panther movie. Like it was like premiering. And I think like USC took like a group of us to watch like the movie premiere. And they gave us like free like snacks. They gave us like a free poster.
That's so cool. Oh
Yeah, and we
my
got to see the
God.
movie like a day or two before it came out. And I remember like that was like a pretty cool experience because I was like, when else would I get to like go?
Yeah, that's so insane.
Yeah.
Oh
But
wow. That's so cool.
yeah, I know USC does like a ton of stuff like that. Like I think every year they take people like to like Universal's like horror nights. Um
Oh yeah, they always
yeah.
tickets and then it's kind of like a raffle. Like you have
Yeah.
to apply, like or not apply, but like sign up and then they'll randomly choose you.
Yeah. I know you have to like do it
Like,
so fast too. Because I remember I tried
mhm.
signing up for that one and like they tell you like the time it's gonna come out and everything. And I think it filled up in like a minute. Like it was so
Oh my
fast.
God. Yeah, because people take advantage of it, which is really cool. I
Yeah.
remember last year too, we had like Sydney Sweeney come and talk in one of the classes
Oh,
to like
wait,
for her new
really?
movie. Yeah, and then we
For
also
like
have
the like cinematic arts department.
Hey there, so sorry to interrupt this podcast, but this is Brooke again with a quick announcement for all my East Coasters. If you live in Boston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, or Miami, We are traveling to these cities on the East Coast to represent the Viterbi School and our Discover USC programs very soon. Learn more about the university and our engineering and computer science programs. Go to viterbi.link/events. That's VITERBI.link/events to see when we will be in your area. Thanks so much. And now back to your podcast.
Then also we had Leve. She had a free concert here last year too, in
Oh,
conjunction with like one of the Asian Asians. So that was insane. The line was so long. Also
that,
had
that is
like Olivia Rodrigo talk about her album last year too. So I feel like because we're in such a like great spot, like geographically, where a lot of artists like come to record their music, I feel like we always have a lot of really fun events. Also like movies too, because a lot of filming happens here in LA. So
yeah.
it's so nice.
No, I remember last year, like during, I want to say it was either like midterms or finals, but like I was about to go home and I remember walking on campus and they were like shooting some type of movie because they had like the Universal Studios like trucks and like they had I like walked by like the area in front of Doheny and they had like the whole setup with like the cameras and like the crew and it was crazy because it was like low-key I don't know if I'm in the background of like a movie because it was like they were
Wait, do
capturing
you know
like
what movie it was?
I have no idea. I tried looking it up everywhere. I have
Like,
no idea what it was, but I know it was like something related to Universal Studios because of the trucks. But like they were like filming a scene basically of just like a college campus with like people walking around and like it was crazy to see like they had like all their like extras with like backpacks and stuff and like they were all just like frozen waiting for like
so
the cue.
cool.
No, it was crazy.
That's so cool. Oh my God. And I know like Legally Blonde was filmed here too, I think.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of scenes, especially um like that scenes that are like supposed to be like East Coast schools. I feel like they'll film them
Yeah.
here literally just because of the red bricks.
Which is so funny because literally the most West Coast, which
No,
is
yeah.
so chill. Okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely like a lot of things going on, I feel like 24/7 on campus.
Mhm.
Kind of on that note, have you ever like spotted like any like celebrities
On campus?
on campus or off campus? I feel like just like in the LA area.
Ooh, okay. Like I've had both. So on campus, I've seen Conan Gray.
Oh,
I think Olivia Rodrigo was with him, but I only saw Conan Gray at the time.
that's crazy.
I've seen Iris Apatow, who's Judd Apatow's daughter, a
Okay.
lot of times. I've seen Storm Reed because I
Mm,
lived in McCarthy, and I guess she had a lot of friends in McCarthy at the time,
mhm.
and so I would always see her in McCarthy, which was so cool.
Yeah. Is she your
Um,
year?
yeah, she's my year,
Gotcha.
which is so insane because I'm like, that's who I have to compare myself to.
No, I just no. I feel like you can't. Like that's like different.
Like, but yeah, so I've seen her. I've also seen Fez from Euphoria when he
Oh yeah.
did a photo shoot here before
Hmm.
he passed. But yeah, that was really, really cool seeing him here. Who else did I see on campus? I'm sure I've seen a lot more, but I'm like blanking right now.
Yeah.
But off campus, I've seen, do you know Nicholas Galzantine?
Yes.
Galzantine?
Wait, you saw him? I used to
Yeah.
love him.
Wait, he's so handsome in
I know.
person. He's really handsome. I saw him at a restaurant and then
Really?
he like we were literally like at one point like 2 feet away from each other, but he gets up and he like just makes direct eye contact with me and I got so scared and I was like, wait, Chelsea. I was with my friend Chelsea. I was like, Chelsea, is that Nicholas Gillis and whatever his last name is? And then he just like looks at me and he just like shakes his head at me and I was like,
Oh my God, so you guys are getting married.
yeah, no, I was like, am I the chosen one?
Oh
Like
my
I think
God,
I
that's
think he wants me.
crazy.
But I was trying to play it cool, so I started like going on my phone, pretending like I don't know who he is. He never gave me a second look after that, so
That's so funny though. I feel like that is like Oh, that's great. I feel like that's a good
Yeah.
story.
Also, he so this was just like a month ago when I saw him, but he
Oh,
lives in West Hollywood or like Hollywood area. So he like frequently goes like shopping there, but he regularly eats at the Great White in West Hollywood.
so you just like
So
know his life story.
yeah, I know everything about him. So if
Did
you ever
he
want to
tell
see,
you personally? Like,
oh yeah, like when he like it was like telepathic when he shook his
okay.
head at me. Like I
He's
just
like,
understood
meet me
everything
at the
about
Great
him,
White.
run into him or any celebrities, honestly. And then I also, oh my God, my roommates, or my roommate from sophomore year has an older sister who works in the entertainment industry
Hmm.
in LA. And she got us tickets to the movie premiere of John Wick Chapter 4. And
Ooh.
so I got to like see, I mean, I only saw him in passing, but like Keanu Reeves, and then also like see
Oh.
the movie. I hadn't seen the other movies, so I was a little lost, but
Mhm.
I mean, it was just a cool opportunity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I also saw Aubrey Plaza
Oh, really?
at
I
a dinner
love
one.
her.
She was okay, but you know how her persona is being mean?
Yeah.
She was so mean to me.
Really? So she's
But
like that in real
it was
life?
really Yeah, but to be fair, it was also Valentine's and she
Okay.
was clearly there with her husband. And so I knew it wasn't the vibe, but I didn't even ask for a picture. I was just like, "Oh, hi, are you Aubrey Plaza?" And she was like, "Yes." And then I was
Where'd you
like,
see
"Oh,
her?
it was at this there's a restaurant called Cara Cara
Mhm.
and that's the rooftop restaurant, but I was in the restaurant on the first floor.
Okay.
It was like some French restaurant, I can't remember, but I remember I was like freaking out and I was like, but I was trying to be calm in front of her. I was like, "Oh, I really love you." And she was like, "Okay."
That's
I
great.
was like,
But I'm like, honestly, like you expect nothing less from her. Like,
yeah, exactly. I was like, that's exactly how I imagined our interaction would go, and I'm so glad it went that way.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that was a really cool time. And I probably have met more, but like those are the ones that like stick out to me.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I feel like you've honestly met so many. But I feel like, yeah, it's always like the randomest people too, I feel like you bump into. Like, I remember like t my sister and I, there was this one time we were at like LAX and we were leaving and we bumped into like Jacob Sartorius. And
You
my
met
sister
Jacob
was like,
Sartorius?
yeah. And my sister was like, oh my God, like, do we ask for a picture? And I was like,
Did
oh,
you?
no, I am
Oh my
not going to
God.
ask Jacob Sartorius for a picture.
He was so fun in middle school. Sweatshirt.
Oh,
Sweatshirt
I
is
was like,
so
oh my God,
iconic.
he went to middle school in Guam? Like,
No, no, we were just obsessed with him on Guam. Like, I mean, who wasn't obsessed with him?
that's funny.
Oh
That's
my God, I can't believe you didn't get a photo.
no, I did not, but whatever. And we were like, is that him? Is that him? But then like he had a guitar case and it like had his name on the guitar. So I
I
was
feel
like,
like
oh
he
my
doesn't even
God.
make music anymore. Why does
No,
he
I
care?
know. That it was funny. It's his passion, Grace. It's his hobby.
Sorry, that's my bad. That's on me.
That's funny. No, but kind of going off of that, like you guys being obsessed with Jacob Sartorius and Guam,
Yes.
is LA like everything you expected it to be, or is it like different at all?
Oh, honestly, I had no expectations coming to LA. Like, for me, the mainland US honestly
Mhm.
was just one big chunk of like land that I thought would all be like the same.
Okay.
Like, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, especially because I grew up in like this tiny island, like
Mhm.
where it's literally a population of like 180,000 people.
Oh,
And I'm like really secluded from a bunch of things and people.
yeah.
So I had no expectations. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to college. Like this will be fun.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm glad I chose USC because I think just choosing the West Coast in general was a really good option for me because it is like geographically closer to home and
Mhm.
it also has a bunch of beaches and great weather, which also reminds me of Guam.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I was really shocked by how individualistic it is here. I
Mhm.
think that's, but I mean, that's any place compared to an island because an
Yeah,
island is very much like small, community oriented.
right.
You know everybody's business and they know yours. So it was kind of refreshing, honestly, to move to a new city where I could kind of just be myself. I wasn't like this person's daughter or this person's sister. I was just like Grace, and
Mm-hmm.
no one really knew anything about me. So that was a really cool experience to sort of just step into myself on my own.
Right.
Um, I will say I did find it really tough freshman year because I just didn't really know anyone. I had one family member here, but she was like a 45-minute drive away, which
Okay.
is like an expensive Uber.
Right.
So I really only saw her when I was super stressed out. But I think joining organizations my freshman year fall really helped, like, just teach me about. I joined like an engineering organization, Theta
Mm-hmm.
Tau. You know this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
How we
and
met.
how we met. And I think that really helped because I was surrounded by a lot of upperclassmen in engineering and in
Mhm.
computer science. And so it was nice to sort of get the TLDR on USC and on computer science from
Mhm.
people who've actually been through the classes that I've been through.
Yeah.
So that was just a really helpful experience because I felt like I had a lot of mentorship and guidance, and also just people I could hang out with.
Mhm.
So beyond like friends that I met in my year, I also had this like huge group of like older students that I could like talk to about like problems or ask them questions.
Mhm.
And so I think it was definitely a huge transition to go from a small island where I have support in everything that I could ever like think of, and then coming to this huge city in like this huge sprawled out city, like over 1,000 miles from home.
Yeah.
I think just joining those organizations really helped like give me my footing in a new city.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was my experience freshman year.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's like really admirable too, the fact that you like did go so far from home. But like yeah, you're 100% right. I feel like even like whether like you're familiar with LA or like it's entirely new, you've never visited, like whatever, it definitely is, I would say, an adjustment. Just because like aside from even like moving to like a big city where there's like constantly things happening, like you're also transitioning into college life. And I feel like it being in LA, like you kind of want to get involved in everything. Like you hear about like this cool opportunity and like, oh my God, like I could go do this. But it's like at the same time, like it's way different from high school and like you do need your support system. So yeah, I would definitely say like, yeah, joining clubs is definitely the move. I feel like yeah, no, similar to me. Like I'm from Tustin, so like I can't say I've like moved super far, but I remember my freshman year was really tough, more like on the academic side of it. Like no one in my family is an engineer, and like no one in my family knew how to help me at all. So like
Yeah.
joining Theta Tau, which is the club Grace mentioned earlier, definitely was like, okay, like I can like look to these seniors, I can ask them questions, like they've done it. So it's like I know there's someone on the other side of this and they're okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, maybe I'll be okay. And then it's like, yeah. But also even like joining clubs and stuff like that, it's also a great way to get off campus. I know,
Oh,
yeah, I know like freshman year, a lot of my friends like would just kind of stay in their dorms or like hang out on campus.
yeah.
But I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
friends with all these upperclassmen, like they drive me everywhere. And like I
Yeah.
actually got to explore LA because of it. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. But that's really cool, Grace. That's good to hear. I was gonna say, oh, do you have any advice for anyone like moving, whether they're like it from the US or like international students? Like, do you have any advice you would give them for coming to a big city like LA?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest thing would probably be, I mean, it depends obviously where you're coming from, but LA is a major city, so I assume that this is going to be a lot faster paced
Hmm.
than what you're typically used to from your hometown. So I would say time management is a really important thing, because there is just so much to do in LA, and USC and the city will throw stuff at you like faster than you can like even process what saying, you know? So I think like my freshman year, I definitely got really overwhelmed with that. And it
Mhm.
was hard to stay grounded because you were just constantly moving.
Mhm.
So I think it like find a good time management system that works for you. I personally like having a little planner where I can write down everything I have going on,
Oh, me too.
just to help, like, yeah, physically see it. And then make sure to like block time for yourself to
Mhm.
like talk to family, to meditate, do yoga, work out, whatever it is that like where you can just sort of be with yourself and just kind of reflect on everything you're doing because I think time really does pass you by so quickly. Like I'm saying this as a senior now. I can't believe I'm a senior. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
crazy.
definitely like, yeah, like my freshman year, I think I sort of just got so swept up in events that like my it would be like months since I like last called my family. So I think like I definitely didn't take as much time for myself or for like family or my health. I was kind of just like, okay, I want to do this, 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 and then that ended up being my entire week.
Mhm.
Um, so I would just say try to work on your time management skills now. And obviously, say yes to as many things as you can, especially as like a freshman or someone new to a city. Like it is really great to say yes to everything, but it doesn't hurt to have like an hour or two to yourself on Sunday to just relax and like take in everything you've done this past week.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's one of the like best things you can do for yourself,
Yeah.
moving to a new city.
No, that's really good advice. But yeah, I remember like freshman year, it was like, oh my God, like I don't even know like where like and like all these events, how do people know about them? Like I'm not
Yeah,
doing enough. Like let me download the
yeah,
USC calendar. Like it was like so overwhelming. And it was like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, like I don't know how people do this all the time because I was like, my social
So
battery is also just like depleted at this point.
literally, and you just
Yeah.
keep going, and then
No,
you're
and
like
yeah,
burning
it's like
yourself out.
nonstop. But yeah, that's the thing too. I feel like you have to be patient with yourself and you have to be kind to yourself. Like it is like a learning process. And like, yeah, sometimes it's okay to say no. Like if you're tired, if like,
Yeah,
it's been too much, you need a second to like adjust. Like that's okay too. And like, yeah, it goes by fast, but at the end of the day, like you have 4 years here to like
you do.
have fun and like meet people. Um,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's just like a really great opportunity. But that's good. And I guess like the last thing, Grace, is like, do you have anything that you're like still looking forward to do in LA or like, I mean, I know it's senior year, so like what are your big plans?
Oh, that's such a good question. This is gonna be a long-winded answer because there's so many things that I want to do.
No, that's okay.
I just really love this city, and I think going back home or over the summer I lived in Seattle, I think
Mhm.
going to places that aren't LA has made me realize how much LA has to offer.
Mhm.
Like if you travel east, you could be in the desert. If you travel west, you could be at the beach. If you
Mhm.
travel south, you could be in Mexico. If you travel north, you could be in Lake Tahoe, like
Uh-huh.
um snowboarding or like chilling at the lake. Like there's just so many things that I want to do. I feel like I've done a lot of things off of my like LA bucket list in terms of like road trips. Like
Mhm.
I've been to Lake Tahoe, I've been to Mammoth,
Mhm.
I've gone to Joshua Tree,
Oh,
San Diego. So I've been to so many cool places already. I think one place I really want to go to would be probably just like all of the beaches. Like I think I've been to most of them, but I've just recently started exploring Malibu a bit more.
ooh,
And the waves there are super nice. Like I feel
really?
like I can actually swim and like the waters are so clear. And so I really do love Malibu and I'm giving it a lot more of my time this semester. It's
Mhm.
a bit of a drive out, but like I mean I also went to Malibu my freshman year when I didn't have a car. My friends and I took the train to Santa Monica, which is like 30 minutes to an hour. And
Yeah.
then we took like three different buses to get to Malibu.
Oh, that's
And I think
crazy.
yeah, I think in total it took us like a good 3 hours to get
Yeah.
there. It took us 3 hours to get back,
I-
which is so insane. And we were like soaking wet because we were,
Yeah.
but definitely doable to get there, like through transportation.
Yeah.
Um,
Plus it's like its own adventure.
it's its own adventure. And so I really want to explore more of the beaches in LA, but also I think LA has a really amazing food scene.
Hmm.
Like It's so, I mean, I'm from Guam, so you'd think our like Asian food would be the best because we are so close to Asia. But I'd say that like LA has better Asian food than Guam.
Really?
And so, which is really surprising because like, I mean, almost like half of Guam's population is Asian, like directly
Yeah.
from like China, Japan, Korea. But I think I would, yeah, I'd have to say LA's Asian food is a lot better. And
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
obviously amazing Mexican food.
Yeah.
I've tried like Middle Eastern food for the first time
Mm,
in LA, which was a really cool experience. And so, and also like Mediterranean food I'd never tried before, and I got to try it here in LA. So I think just I really want to find like the best like food spots
mhm,
like per cuisine here in LA.
mhm.
And so I'm just sort of going through like Eater LA, it's this magazine, and like going through all the recs because I want to like, enjoy this as much as I can.
Mhm.
And let me think, what else is there that I want to explore? Oh, I've also extensively explored like flea markets here in LA,
Oh yeah, I
because
feel
I
like
like,
you do know like all the good ones.
yeah. And so I have a really long list in my notes app
Mhm,
describing every single like flea market that I've been to.
mhm.
And I'll even go like inland, like more east, and go to these like really like interesting like dollar value flea markets. And
Oh.
I've found that that's more like it's actual like products like soaps and like tires,
Oh.
like
Mhm.
like a bunch of cars stuff. It was really interesting to like see, and that's more for like really native like local LA people.
Yeah.
Um, just to actually get good value on like household items. So
Mhm.
it was interesting. I feel like different neighborhoods have their own version of like flea markets, and it's
Yeah.
really caters towards who lives there.
Mhm.
So I think I want to explore LA more in the context of like flea markets or restaurants and just kind of like help me better categorize different neighborhoods in LA because I kind of
Mhm.
just really want to get to know the city better. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I feel like I talked about my experiences, but also what I wanted to like
Yeah.
do here. But like, that's definitely like, I don't know, there's just so many things that you can do in LA. It's
Mhm.
hard to like just think of one, you know?
No, definitely. No, I mean that's a good plan. I mean, you have a full year to like execute it, right?
I
But
know.
yeah, like the food scene is crazy. And I feel like there's like, because yesterday we had like our like kind of like welcome night for Theta Ta. And so we like had our dinner. And even just like driving to like Venice Beach or like Santa Monica, like there are so many restaurants, which
So,
also Grace touched on like the fact that she used the metro or like the train. All like USC students get like free metro passes. So like
mhm,
I know there's like a direct line to Santa Monica, which was like
mhm.
a big thing freshman year. Like everyone was going to Santa Monica like on the
Everybody
weekend.
was going
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really cool. And like there are definitely like a fair share of like nice LA restaurants which like have gotten a little pricey. But you
Mhm.
also have like the more low key like chill spots. Like one of my favorites that I've been to with Grace is Taco Zone.
Love Taco Bell.
Yes.
Love it with my whole heart.
Just like the food, there's so many food trucks and like food stands in like LA. And like apparently I didn't know this. Food trucks in LA are like really like safe to eat at because they're like regulated by that like the LA like the government like of California. And like it's like something like that. And so like
What?
apparently like they have their own regulations and like they get checked on them. So it's like
Huh?
eating at a food truck in LA is like safer than like in other places where like you could get like food poisoning and like all that stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I would still
Yeah.
eat there if it wasn't,
Yeah.
but
No, same because
but
they're
like
really
that
good.
makes me feel even better.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, oh, like they're doing it right. You know, I'm like supporting a local business.
Yeah.
But like Taco Zone,
Oh
if
wow.
any of you ever do end up coming to USC, Taco Zone is a must try. It's basically a
That's
taco
amazing.
stand, and it's called Taco Zone because it used to be in the parking lot of AutoZone, but they recently moved down the street, but it's still called Taco Zone. So, 10 out of 10 recommend. You should all go. Try the LA restaurants, do all the
It's
LA things.
yes,
But
I
yeah,
can't recommend it enough.
no, it's so good. But yeah, that's kind of all I have today. But yeah, thank you so much, Grace, for joining us today. This was a lot of fun. Um, feel free to check out all of our other like Viterbi Voices pages. We have blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos. We do live chats here and there. And so yeah, good luck everyone. And as always, fight on.
Fight on.